postal operations is not as easy to learn as freight. It's not that easy. And you really have to understand the whole box and dice, not just the terminologies, but the processes and the relationships. There's so many relationships around postal. Unless someone gets appointed who knows pretty well postal operations, that would be a breakthrough for us.
Welcome to the first episode of Cut to the Core. Our guest today is a luminary in the logistics industry. She has over 20 years of industry experience in logistics management. She headed multinational organizations that offer both postal and courier solutions. Her startup mycartero.com was named in 2018 by DTI as the first self-service innovative shipping platform in the Philippines. She was also a past president of the Philippine Marketing Association. In this episode, she will discuss the complexity of postal operations, the pros and cons of shipping via a government-owned postal service versus a privately owned courier service. She will talk about her failures and the lessons she learned in business. She will talk about her vision on how mycartero.com will simplify and remove friction in shipping operations. Let's listen to Arlene Padua as she walks us through her entrepreneurship journey and the early days of her career.
I'm actually a mom of four, and I am a grandma to two lovely baby girls. And I started my career in the logistics business in TNT. So I was there for 7 to 8 years. I started with the courier business, and I understand that including the freight industry. Now, during the time that they were spinning off and joining forces with Singapore Post, that was the time that they appointed me to become the first country general manager for TNT International Mail. And it was spun off to become Spring Global Mail and then Quantium Solutions. Thereafter, I joined another international group. This is basically a European company as well. It's Direct Link Worldwide. It's a company owned by, back then it was owned by Sweden Post. Now they are owned by Post Nord. No? Ang daming mga merging and acquisitions kasi sa postal business, sa private post. So I started my logistical background from
It's
that
still a Swedish
to,
company?
it is still a Swedish company, but it's now owned by the Nordic Post. Kaya naging Post Nord. It's Nordic
Oh,
Post.
okay, okay,
Mm.
okay.
That's basically my background in the industry. I've serviced major multinational companies when I was with TNT, from Procter and Gamble, Nokia, even El Shaddai at that time, no. And it really helped me understand the business of courier and freight. And when I was given the role to become the International Mail Country Manager in the Philippines, which is the first one ever, bata ko pa noon, I was only 27 years old. Can you imagine? That was
Okay.
actually my breakthrough in a courier operations, a freight operations, and a mail operations. Because being with the international mail or the postal group, I had to learn quickly um, the the lingo, the processes, and the terminologies, which is basically and totally different from courier.
But before you went into the logistics industry,
Mm.
were you in another industry or straight from
I was
college?
with an no, no. Actually, I took up nutrition and dietetics in college. I wanted to be a doctor, but my mom
Wow.
died. Yeah, my mom died when like I was graduating from college. So I didn't get to finish my college. Siguro mga 9 units na lang ako. She died of cancer, and then, the turn of events happened. But it didn't stop me from learning. And I thought that it would be the end of my time. When you get married, you get kids, you would think that your dream, when you were younger, you would always have this idea and dream of really making it big. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a businessman when I was younger. And I thought getting married and having kids would stop me. So I continued dreaming. And then I started working. Did you know that the first job that I have way back in the college days, mga part-time jobs, I was doing below the line marketing, for marketing companies, for the big names in the fast moving consumer goods. So I
Okay.
was with them for promotions. And then when I got married na nga and I had my kids, um, I became the one of the trainer of Grolier Encyclopedia.
Wow.
Yes, oo.
Wow.
Oo.
Okay.
And there I learned really the hardships of really being in sales because it's so hard to sell encyclopedia at the time. But lo and behold, I was given, I was trained by one of the best marketing director of Grolier. Um, I don't know if she's still alive, si Mommy Joy Perez, Kui. And she saw my potential. And after 6 months, she got me in as a as a training director. Una training assistant, and then she gave me the role na
Okay.
training director, where I was training OFWs, different walks of life, different ages. Yung profile mixed talaga. And I was teaching them how to sell encyclopedia. Was
Selling is a
my jump.
very critical skill that you need, especially when you run big organizations. I'd like to know how do you compare selling during your time with TNT and the way you run your businesses now? I'm sure you still need to do a lot of selling. Is there a significant difference in selling during your time?
For those who don't know TNT now has been bought by FedEx. It's now being implemented. Now, anyway, going back to your question, I have to answer. The difference there is that I was very focused on my target market. I learned a lot with TNT as to how to probe, as to how to really handle customers in the service industry because it's totally different. Back in the younger days when there would be complaints, you normally would run away from complaints, right? But it was with TNT that I learned that at the first time or first moment of complaint, that is the best time to address it. Don't run away. So that's where I learned about it. And then I learned the hard way too. It's really hard work. And what is good about being trained in TNT is that, I learned about customer relationship management. I learned about um, systems kasi I was handling the systems. I fell in love with that. Territory management and marketing. When I was with sales, so I was learning all of this stuff.
Are
And
you using tools already like CRM?
what is good about Direct Link? They invested during that time, 7.5 billion guilders. O, diba? Memorize ko pa.
Wow.
7.5 million guilders to set up a global CRM system. Their
Okay.
CRM system is so powerful that you can see historicals of a client, communications, who the people they spoke to in the company, in any department, be it in finance, credit and collection, sales, customer service, operations. If there are communications to a customer, it is all recorded. We are mandated to record it. So I remember that time every Monday we have a deadline to encode all the discussions that we have with customers, be it phone calls, be it sales visits to an existing customer or sales visit to a prospect. We have to record everything. So nandun siya. It's so powerful that I really fell in love with CRM because of TNT.
What year was this, Arlene? If I may ask, was this is in the 90s, no?
1990s. I was with the millennial team.
Mm.
Isipin mo yun. yung millennial bug, 'di ba? I was
Okay.
with one I
2000.
was with
Oh,
the team
okay.
2000, 1999 shifting to 2000.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think
mm,
CRM during that time was matured already because I was using CRM 1995 pa eh. But I work for a tech company, so
oh yeah.
I think your
But
time. Yeah.
yeah, but for a logistics company,
Yeah.
I've never seen the same with other
Okay.
providers. I've never seen the same. So
Yeah.
I fell in love with it. That's how my journey to CRM started. Ang ganda. You know, even if when I became kasi, diba, the TNT International Mail Country General Manager. When I was that already, they gave me a very powerful ID to access the system. I was the guru for international mail in the Philippines.
Okay.
So, as a guru, of course, you see all the data that they have. If you want to look at customers that traded, first date of trading or campaigns that they joined, lapse accounts, mga last transactions,
Yeah.
name it. Meaty yung kanilang CRM system, and people were really encoding all the information that we need. Even up to the time that, if you need to see revenue, number of items, number of cons, where is it going, I really loved yung system nila.
I'm
I
sure
loved it. I
they
loved it.
spent so much
Mm,
to avail of that solution kasi during that time CRM is very new and usually
yeah.
in-house made yan, I mean customized.
Yeah, it's customized. Di ba nga, ilang million of guilders they spent.
Yeah.
So at a particular level, I can already see countrywide. Before kasi, when I was a territory manager, all I can see is my territory. So, and
Okay.
then when I became the guru, it's countrywide. But, I became involved with the regional marketing. I became involved with the regional country management, of course. I would see that the access when you're on a regional level, you see all the countries that you are handling. It's
Okay.
the beauty of the CRM they have because they were sharing information with us.
Okay. And how was it moving to another organization after getting all the tools that you need and they were learning so much from TNT when you moved to what was the next? Direct Link already,
Direct
right?
link, direct link,
Are
yes.
they as tech savvy or do they invest in systems as well?
They're not tech savvy at the time, but they were information savvy.
Okay.
Information is so deep already. And that's what I want. I learned so much from. That's where I learned so much from as well. They're so focused on creating solutions to customers, finding the right distribution options.
But
And, for me to see the postal gateways, that was the time that I saw it. Since before with TNT, I didn't see it the way I saw the operations in Direct Link. Although I got the chance to visit the Jetsons family. I call it Jetsons family. This is the irony. I live in the Philippines. I know how our postal operators um, look. Diba yung structure, yung process. I know it because I'm with TNT. I went to Singapore. I had the opportunity to visit Singapore Post.
okay.
I was like,
Where are you comparing it from?
I'm from the local, from what we can see here. Because I have no
Okay.
choice.
Oh,
They were my first
definitely.
exposure. Pero that's where I saw the beauty of being technology driven. Singapore, as we all know it, is the hub of a lot of things. Logistically, postal wise, courier wise, yun yung hub. So when I got the chance to visit and see the operations and walk through the operations of Singapore Post, I was amazed with the beauty, with the process, to the point that it's very efficient. How efficient? Ganito. In the Philippines, then when there's unloading of mail bags, you would see people carrying the mail bags physically, putting it on the ground. With with the Jetsons family. I'll call them Jetsons family, no?
Okay.
With the Jetsons family, once the container opens, there's already a forklift. No one's driving it. It would
Wow.
go there.
Wow.
Yeah, it would go there, and all the guys would do is just pick the mail bag and put it on the forklift. The forklift will then bring it to the elevator. Yeah. The elevator will not close if it cannot read the mail tag. It has a barcode na, diba?
Okay.
So there's a reader.
Scanner. Yeah, okay.
Oh, there's a reader on the ceiling of the elevator. If it doesn't sense the barcode, the door of the elevator will not close. So, ang ginawa nila, no, una hindi pinabasa and then pinabasa nila. And then the elevator closed. We were inside. We were inside. And then it opened to the mail processing area. So the conveyor and the forklift just drove by itself, brought it to the first station. And that is where another person will unload the mailbag and open it. So pag in-open nila yun, syempre ayusin. And you can see, of course, yung beauty of the conveyor belts. Yun.
This is your first encounter of technology during
Yes. Yes.
early 2000.
And you get the the longing of wishing that it can be happening in the Philippines. And that was like 2000. 20 years ago. Grabe.
Okay.
20 years ago.
Were you dealing with challenges on rates during that time? I mean,
I mean,
I think
price
when
is
you're in the
always a
logistics
driver.
business, that's the main issue. It's a cutthroat competition on rates. So
Yes. It has price has always been a challenge. Any industry, I think, where you go, the price challenge would always be there. But I think the price positioning and where you would like to position your product or your service plays a major role. At the time, people didn't know about, oh, pwede pala kaming magpadala sa ibang postal operator that is here in the Philippines. During the time I was with TNT, I was given the responsibility to introduce this concept to the Filipino corporations, to companies here. So we would be doing a lot of marketing awareness campaigns, creating conferences for people to really understand mailroom management, ganyan. When they started to realize that, okay, ibang service level, it may be in the same category, but it's a different level, then people started to embrace it. But I have to tell you, for major mailers, price is always a huggle. There's a change in paradigm already nowadays, I think.
yeah,
People are more welcoming to the
yeah.
idea that there are different service levels.
I think we're starting to get used to e-commerce, but then there are a few hurdles still along the way, and actually it's it's your industry is which is really a big part of making the full ecosystem work, no.
Mm,
During my time when I started uh, uh, putting up my own e-commerce company, the major issues were payment and logistics, no. Over the years,
yeah.
payment became accessible to everyone. You can easily integrate it with your platform. But logistics, unless we live in China, there's a lot to do for the Philippines, no. And
Yeah.
but anyway, let's go back to you. So let me recap. So early part of your career, you learned sales in selling encyclopedias and other
Mm.
stuff. At TNT, you learned technology, CRM. So
Account management. Yes.
with Direct Link, what specific learnings did you get from running Direct Link?
With the first group, I learned account management. I learned about CRM. I learned about the industry, courier and freight, and a little bit of mail. Although I was with them, a little bit of mail and finance. I had to take finance for senior executives when I was with them, because I had to handle all the financial reports. I had to be able to
Yeah, okay.
understand it. So I studied finance for senior executives at AIM at the time. And then, of course, marketing, a bit of marketing. I learned a lot about marketing in that particular group. But when I joined the latter group, I learned about commercial. I learned about operations. I learned about being able to come up with um, tailor cut solutions. They were very open about that. So I was doing a lot of project management with no with the second company. And then of course, since I was the one who set it up, I learned how to set up a company in the Philippines.
Okay, okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
yes.
Next will be post 10, no? This is you're all out being a true entrepreneur.
Correct. My baptism of fire, I can say. Well,
Okay. Yeah,
the
run us through your experiences in running your own company. What year was
so
this?
2000,
2010.
2010, 2000.
2010. Okay.
Yes.
A lot
Well,
of learning, especially
a
for a
lot
new
of
company.
learnings, a lot of learnings. But you can see, Poston is very special because I don't know, spiritually, for my faith side, I have seen the works of the Lord in my family through Poston, and so many miracles in this business. Why? Because the dream of Poston at the time was to replicate the business model that we have with the former office, the former group that I was with.
Okay.
They closed kasi in the Philippines
Okay.
because of ownership issues. We were only a representative office in the Philippines because investing in the Philippines at the time to be 100% foreign owned is very expensive. Even naman ngayon diba?
Yeah.
So the owners at the time says, no, let's just do a rep office. It's easy. It's not as expensive as when you do 100% um, foreign-owned company. Kasi they don't like to be sharing with Filipinos Diba? If you want to establish a company here, you can only have about 40%, um, not majority, in short. The Filipino-owned company, it has to be majority Filipino-owned, right? So they don't like that. They want to be 100%. So when they had to close shop in the Philippines, I was like, um, there's so many potential in the Philippines. And even before they closed, I was already pushing for Philippines to be a regional hub or regional operations hub. Somewhere they can, a country where they can do business continuity plans. Let's say something happens to Singapore, they can look at, let's say, Clark or Cebu, where we can do processing. At the time, I was studying that already, and I say, well, it's a good project, and I'd like to pursue this. So what I did was to convince Philpost. I went to them because I
Oh,
am already their customer. I'm already their customer. I was able to create a bilateral agreements between Philpost and Direct Link. Philpost and Spring when I was with them. So I already opened a bilateral agreements for two major companies for Philpost. So I approached the postmaster general at the time, and I asked if I can sell them. I gave them the information of what's happening outside. And at that time, they really don't know that this is happening and it's visible. And, they had a lot of apprehensions. They had a lot of fear. But I told them that I think I gained their trust so that they agreed for Posten to be the marketing arm of PhilPost outside the country. So
did you
that's the
have
start.
premonition, Arlene, that Direct Link will close shop?
No, it was the most challenging time of my life at the time. But I think when God closes a door, He opens a bigger
Yeah,
one.
I
So
agree. But
yes,
you took on the existing clients, right?
no, I didn't took on the existing customers because the business model is different.
Totally different. Ah,
Yes, no,
okay.
it's different. So I have to respect also at that time that one of the members of Direct Link is selling Direct Link in the Philippines at that time. No, so I said no, I don't like that. I want to sell the Philippines as a hub, a transit hub in Asia. because at the time it was very crucial. The category, because in the postal world, there's what we call a developing country, an industrialized country. And this impacts the terminal dues. Terminal dues are the charges. They charge each other. At the time that Direct Link closed its Manila shop, Singapore Post and Hong Kong Post were being reclassified as an industrial country already, which means that the charges will increase, their postage costs will increase. And major mailers in Asia would be finding an alternative solution. They used to go to Singapore and Hong Kong at the time.
But Arlene, sorry, who benefits from the increase in the rates? The businesses or the government?
Um,
And what's the implication on the customers?
Number one, when terminal dues are the charges of the different postal operators between them. So when you are reclassified from the developing country to an industrial country, the charges increases. So nagkakaroon ka ng per kilo per item. Now, this is not good for customers. That's why customers will have to find alternative solutions for them to avail of a cost-effective way of distributing their materials.
Yeah.
So I think you don't have a say already, because what dictates being reclassified or being classified from developing country to an industrial country, it's basically the volume of mail that goes in and out of your group.
So if your volume increases, they reclassify you to the next.
Not immediately. So slowly yan. They would monitor the movement, because all postal operators are governed by the Universal Postal Union. So this is the governing body, and then they monitor every movement, all movements of mail in a particular operator.
So as a country, do we want to be reclassified like Singapore and Hong Kong?
The question is, do we have the volume to be reclassified?
Yeah.
We don't have the volume.
Why
don't
do
have
you
the
think
volume.
why do you think we don't have the volume, Arlene?
We don't have the volume because at the time, no, we are not into e-commerce yet. And when we are in the e-commerce business, we know more about DHL, courier side, freight side, but we are not into the B2C or C2C yet at that time,
Agree.
which
Yeah.
is more of the target market for postal operators for export. Number two, our manufacturers are not into e-commerce also selling B2C or C2C. Lagi silang wholesale, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So, compared to China, where they have open talaga for B2C and C2C, they gave the tools and equipment needed by the market, the entrepreneurs, to really go big in e-commerce. That's one thing that I love about being able to see China through Posten. When I established Posten kasi, we have a lot of inquiries from China. Of course, we are forced to go there. We have to go there, meet the customers, see the technology that they have. And I have to say that the company that we have released in 2019 is a fruit of what we've been seeing since 2014 in China. And, that started my dream to be able to do something like that in the Philippines.
You're now on your 11th year for Posten, so you've gone through the entrepreneur's itch. Do you see a lot of opportunities now that e-commerce is slowly improving in Asia and in the Philippines?
There's a lot of opportunities. The problem is bureaucracy. It changes the situation.
Do you see a solution eventually, or we're we're hopeless being in the being in the Philippines?
Kasi, I think the solution there would be one of the things, kasi ang postal post natin, no, I have high respect for the people who are there. They're my friends. And people there are really working so hard to really grow and understand the postal operations. Unfortunately, the postal operations is not as easy to learn as freight. It's not that easy. And you really have to understand the whole box and dies, not just the terminologies, but the processes and the relationships. There's so many relationships around postal, and unless someone gets appointed who knows pretty well postal operations, I think that would be a breakthrough for us. There were like in 2018, 2017, yeah, 2017, 2016, there were a lot of drives, especially when Postmaster Josie de la Cruz was there. Her vision, she's really a mover in the postal industry na kahit hindi siya galing sa postal world. When she went in, she really understood a lot of things and her eyes were opened. She has a different mindset in terms of growth, in terms of growing PhilPost.
Would you say that we are the least efficient postal service in Asia?
Hindi naman tayo the least, but we're not also the best.
Yeah, because I've heard about China partnering with Malaysia and making them the hub in Asia. They call themselves the digital duty-free zone.
No,
Now,
Alibaba was given a land in Malaysia at the by the airport. You know, I was there. I was in Malaysia a day after Jack Ma went
oh,
to
okay.
see the land being given to them by Malaysia in the airport.
You're with Posten na.
I was with Posten na.
Posten na.
I was
But
I was like,
have you seen the tech the hub of the one they designed for for the Malaysian government?
I think I saw it once during the time that I was doing a research. Kasi like I was so amazed, like you're gonna do it in Malaysia? O, diba? But yeah,
Yeah,
I went in Malaysia actually to see how things are moving in Malaysia, how the different airports are moving. And at the time, I was with some people from the government to show them that this is happening. You know, actually that opened their eyes. That, you know, these things are happening already. Why can't we in the Philippines?
yeah, and I think China is just preparing these ASEAN countries to help facilitate their uh, one 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 road, one
One
belt,
one belt.
one road
Uh,
economic zones. There are I think at least 6 economic corridors that they created,
yeah, Russia is
and
there.
we are actually part of that initiative.
Yeah.
Are we preparing for that as well?
They're investing a lot here already. And I have to say that they are understanding the way they can be able to utilize our airports, our planes that's leaving the country not maxed out on bellies. So we have a lot of opportunities here.
Is there any advantage of PhilPost now compared to the other ASEAN countries? Do we have a strength that we can actually really
Arts,
leverage on and compete?
well, during the pandemic, I have to say that our strength is minimized because the surcharges being imposed by the airlines are too high. No, but before pandemic, we were starting to have that edge, but the pandemic happened, and then all of these surcharges are ridiculously high. You know, I can't even sell them. So difficult. Feel
Okay.
na feel eh, no?
Arlene, I'm curious, being an exporter myself, do we have a, a, a delivery duty paid service in the Philippines? Do we have that here?
Yeah, we have that. We have that. We have
Okay.
that. We can. That is being offered by PhilPost. That can be offered by private companies also.
Any advantage of using that? Do we solve our problems in custom clearance on the other side? Does that solve the problem? Delivery duty paid,
DDP.
DDP.
DDP, delivery duty paid.
Remember my case before? I mentioned that I was shipping about 10-kilogram bags of dried mangoes to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So I shipped it in 2 consecutive days. So day one, I was not charged at all. Day two, they were charging me a certain amount. Yeah, I raised this issue with you before, and I think being an exporter and for the small businesses who have plans of shipping out of the country, I think this is one major impediment that we need to address. Can is the DDP the solution for that, or there are other
The,
solutions over that?
well, DDP is one solution, but I have to say that there are other solutions. My question to you, I know you did mention to me before, but I cannot remember your answer. I gave you a question. How did you send it out? Did you send it out by courier? Did you send it out
I
by
I I use
freight?
I'll be specific. Wala naman akong tinataguan dito eh. I use DHL. I think the 10-kilogram box. If it's not DHL, it's FedEx. I use a 10-kilogram box. Supposedly it's a fixed amount, and supposedly there'll be no duties when you ship using that box, you know. But still, they were charging me.
Yes, because they are a private company. This is where I really understood the operation. When you send through companies like DHL, FedEx, or TNT, or even LBC, at the other end, most likely you would be imposed of duties and taxes because everything that they process goes through customs examination, very stringent. And what was the de minimis? You know, what was the declared value that you had? Yun yung
200
kailangan.
pesos.
200 pesos.
No. Kidding, just kidding.
Uh-huh. Pero that is something that people will have to understand. No, everything goes through customs processing and customs clearance. Even those that goes through the postal channel have to go through a customs clearing process. The difference is that from the airport to DHL, before it's even released to DHL, there's customs or not DHL, even yung mga private companies. So may customs. So they would, of course, look into everything. And since this is a private company, iba yung management ng customs. Ang postal, the way it's done, since it's a government-owned entity, it goes through from the airline diretso sa postal central mail exchange where they normally have the customs people. And since it passed through the postal channel, the scrutiny and, it's different. Although, of course, they have the same book. But I think it's more, based on experience, mas lax pag dumaan sa postal kesa sa freight, sa DHL or sa private courier companies.
Now let's go to post 10. My Cartero, which is your baby right now, I visited the website and I'm impressed. You're really putting much time into improving your systems. What's the relationship between the two now?
It's a different entity. The way we had to do it is, initially we were looking at being able to service under Post 10. But from our legal counsel, from our tax counsel, they gave us the advice that it is better to have another company that would be focusing on export and import into the Philippines because Post 10's focus is on transit. That's why that's why it's located in Clark. We're actually a locator of Clark Development Corporation, enjoying the benefits of a locator. My cartero started from a dream in 2014 when we went to Shenzhen, China. When we were in Shenzhen, China, our major prospect for Posten at the time was the biggest transport company, distribution company in China. And the way we saw them moving, being present, handling B2B and B2C and C2C was already a step forward, a step ahead in the traditional distribution channel. So I said, I want to bring that to the Philippines. With the technology in that, I saw that. I want to bring that to the Philippines. And we started looking into possibilities how we can do it in 2014, 2015, 2016. But I think it was the timing of being a mentor in 2017 when we started going around as a Go Negosyo certified mentor. So we go around the country, and when we do introduce myself with the mentees, they would always come to me after the conference and they would tell me, is there a way we can service them? They ask me, is there a way we can help us in terms of our export requirement, in terms of, other logistical requirements? I wanted to with all my heart, but at the time I have to protect the business model we have for Posten, and I had to say no. And going around the Philippines from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and hearing the cry of MSMEs for a solution, an alternative solution, an alternative provider for them, has pinched my heart so bad. But I can't do something, when you're an entrepreneur, you're so focused on what you're doing in that particular time. And then lo and behold, in 2018? I think, no, 2019. The early 2019, there is a major catastrophe in the Philippines that I was asked to intervene. What happened was, there's a major boo-boo. A lot of shippers were complaining already because their shipments from October of 2018, October, November, December, January, February, were stuck in Singapore. And no one was moving. No one was moving it. So my friends in the industry asked if I can help them because they were bombarded by complaints from the Philippines and they don't have a Philippine office. And I had to we were commissioned to help them coordinate with customers locally. No, what happened then was like, from that particular point in time where we had to, alam mo yung sabihin, sinalo mo yung
Yeah.
problema.
Okay.
So, but my heart and my mind was more on, we have to help these people because the stake of the Philippines is on hand. If the Philippines gets tagged as a bogus e-commerce country, the likelihood of growing the e-commerce business in the Philippines
Yeah.
would be very bad because you have a tainted name in the global e-commerce arena. So I said, no, I think it's an advocacy that we have to support. We have to help them. So we helped them. We didn't earn a single centavo. We even paid for their postage.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to pay for their postage so that it would move. So we didn't only become the shock absorber for complaints, we became the shock absorber of cost. But it's okay. So, and then eventually we were given the opportunity to set up our own company because there were a lot of people requiring for a solution. So when that thing happened, I remembered my dream of having an advanced, innovative company that would be able to solve the different pain points in the Philippines for export and local distribution. So now the birth of My Cartero happened in April. We were launched in the second logistics services Philippines. We were launched by DTI in July 15. And My Cartero was there, announced to the public as the first self-service innovative shipping platform available in the marketplace in
Wow,
2019.
congratulations. Actually, I'd like to take this opportunity to commend you, Arlene, kasi not all SMEs are like you, no? You're innovating. You're considering that you're not a tech guy, you know nothing about tech, but since you need to be competitive compared with the other players in the country, I really admire your courage
Yeah, I
into
think,
getting
yeah,
into
that's
something
me.
that you're not really familiar with. And I'd love to know, where is the company now and where do you plan to go? How is the system going now that it's been
Now,
in
okay.
operation for the past, like, how many? 3 months? Are you still on break-in, or you're fully functional na?
Well, we're still breaking in, I have to say. Because like there's something new every time. There's an API integration, and then we would see, oh wait, I need this. So you have to do break-ins here and there. And then what's good about that is God sends us God appointed and divine appointments, divine connections that would
Very
help
good.
us develop it for a better system for the people. Now our vision is to really become the preferred host, solutions, no, for export that people will see. And it's an innovation that we have brought into the Philippines so that people will be able to get the tracking numbers for international transactions immediately. No, that's one pain point that we were addressing. Number two pain point is that we wanted to be able not only to give the tracking numbers, but also to be able to have a platform where people can go to and teach them how to be professionals in preparing their mail items. Kasi sa atin, sinulat mo lang, okay na,
Yeah.
no? But, when you're in e-commerce, when you have to send something abroad, you have to follow certain protocols and certain structures. So that we created a system that would allow everybody to come up with a professionally prepared labels that also has with it a simplified customs document that would allow it for easy processing internationally immediately. So ganun agad. And well, one thing we were really envisioning when we were creating it is that this would be able to make the lives of every Filipino, OFWs, local corporations and MSMEs, or even exporters, to have access to postal deliveries internationally. And then it will also become an aggregator of other services wherein even courier companies can join our platform so that people doesn't have to go to them individually if it's just one off. They can just go to the system and be able to transact business with us through that system.
So, Arlene, what's your advantage compared to shipping it via the courier services? And maybe you can walk us through one typical SME who wants to ship an item out of the country. Maybe use the leg that you have the cheapest rates, and then maybe start promoting the service already.
Um, with courier kasi, the minimum weight is 500 grams. No? 500 grams agad yan. And if it's non-paper, immediately you are categorized as a parcel sender, non-document. No? And medyo expensive na agad sila.
Yeah.
Expensive na agad sila. Not everybody has access to a courier company. You have to go out and go and, diba? Or if you have a regular account, that's the only time you can request for a pickup.
Yeah.
But just the same, if you have a regular account, not everybody has a special rate. So everything is still expensive. Going to, let's say, Singapore, although they have a fast turnaround, so courier is good if your items are of high value and urgent. May time limit element. Like it has to be there for 2 days, 3 days. Then courier has to be your way. Not everything can be answered by something cheap. But if you're sacrificing the delivery target date, then it's a waste of money anyway. So if it's via postal companies or postal distribution, it has to be low value and it doesn't matter yung transit time because it will really take a lot. Postal is really snail mail as we term it. So, ang maganda dito, 500 grams is the start of for courier. We can start for as low as 50 grams, 100 grams. So
Okay.
you are able to maximize
Graduated.
cost,
Okay.
yeah, cost efficiency. Kasi ang courier for every increment of 500 grams.
Yeah.
So that's the two different thing, no? And then you can either go for trackable, which you can choose from premium 1 or premium 2. Both of these are tracked with tracking numbers, and you can track it up to the time it's delivered. Or the non-trackable, which is super economy. So depende sa budget mo, you can utilize all of this. Now there is a certain cap for premium and super economy, because the cap there is only maximum of 2 kilos. Anything above that, you go to express mail. But based on information and data, out of the Philippines, our average e-commerce weight item would range for about 150 grams to 300 grams only. So mas mura siya. If you create your own account in MyCartero's site, www.mycartero.com, you can create your own account, and eventually you would be able to analyze your shipments. It would be easier for you to encode the data, or you can simply upload a file, let's say from your Shopify account. If you're an e-commerce seller, you download the file from Shopify, you upload it to our site for you to be able to prepare the shipping labels immediately. So we try to make life simple for our customers, for Filipinos who'd like to send through our system.
The system provides for the printing of the airway bill, no?
The labels, we call it labels.
You
Yes.
call it labels. Okay, Arlene, let me recap, no? I think everybody must know and understand, no? The benefit of working with you is like, for example, you're an SME and you want to open an account with the courier services like DHL or FedEx. You need to apply, right? You need to
Yes.
you'll be evaluated, and before they give you an account to send, and they can pick up from your place, right?
Yes.
With MyCartero, you don't need
You don't.
that partnership.
You
At the
don't
same
need, but you
time,
have access.
okay, what they only need to make sure that they don't go over 2 kilos. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. We're getting ready. We hired additional people to assist us. Tapos yung structure namin in terms of sa partners for pickup, maganda naman. We partnered with a local company also, who is actually our last mile delivery agent also. So it's a business reciprocity. We're able now to entertain clients in Davao, Cebu, Pampanga. They can ship to Manila and for us to send out. So nagkakaroon na sila ng access. Ang
Oh,
ngayon, ang challenge namin is marketing. So ang ginawa ko, we were blessed to have a digital marketing partner who would take care of marketing it sa digital world. Yung mga banner. Kasi hindi ko naintindihan yan. Sabi mo nga, hindi ako tech person, di ba? Oo.
okay. Well, there are several strategies you can take, no? What's important is to put in content in your what channels are you leveraging on in terms of you promoting My Cartero? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Now it's just YouTube, not YouTube, not even YouTube. Because the YouTube, we wanted to come up with a mga 15-minute na videos na hindi
Yeah.
pa namin na-execute. Oo. Kasi maggagawa pa kami ng content. But it's on the pipeline. And we already created a channel, My Cartero channel something. Tapos
Okay.
ando doon na yung corporate brief namin. Yung video ng My Cartero nandun na. Tapos we have regularly, we're daily updating our Facebook and Instagram, pero it's just mirroring. Nagmi-mirror pa lang siya. Wala pa masyadong customer engagement.
I visited Post 10. I noticed the content is mostly My Cartero. That's why I asked the question, what's the relationship?
Wala. I have to protect
You can do
Post
whatever
10.
you want.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
Arlene, are you an old school type of entrepreneur where you still use notebooks in terms of doing your task and to-dos, and or you take advantage of the technologies right now? Are you a tool person using what's available, or
Well, if there's nothing available for my digital tool, I use the paper pa rin, and I write it down to bring my thoughts together. I think that's something that TNT has really inculcated in me, no? Talagang write it down, 1 to 10, things to do. You write it down. I have Google Calendar, of course. I put everything there. Yung mga things to do na sa Google Calendar. If there's something na hindi ko naisulat sa Google Calendar, then it's on my paper.
so the likes of Evernote, Meister Task, to-do list, mga
Well,
ganyan.
to-do list.
To-do list. Yeah, may mga free version naman na pwede na eh.
Oo. Diba, sa Mac nga meron, pero hindi ko masyado nagagamit eh. I have
That's
Mac
why
eh.
I admire you so much. Kasi you're not really tech, pero you're still you ah.
Oh,
If you look at your system, parang wow, okay ah.
I just know what I want. What I want to bring to the table
And
for
partner
for
and
the
hire the
people.
right people, di ba?
And then I will tell them, this is what I want to do. This is, eto yon, from A to B, ano yung dapat makita. And then of course, yun yung sabi ko sa'yo eh, I'm so blessed to be given divine networks, divine connections that really helped me bring it all together. And you are one of them, just asking you, can you check on my system if it's good or not? Because I wanted to find out from another person, of course, other than our IT guys who would say, oh, this is good, this is nice, this is the in thing, this is how to manage it. But since I'm not a tech person, I have to go to somebody else and say, can you check, please? So, yun yung maganda.
Yeah.
And then, one thing good about us is that while yung Facebook namin is slowly increasing yung kanyang followers, people are starting to we're getting a lot of questions nowadays na how we can help them, how to do this, how to do that. And yung word of mouth marketing for us is very effective. We're being recommended here and there, which is good. Nakakatulong siya, no?
Okay, what I suggest for you is to focus on optimizing the application, the system. Make sure it's working properly, and make sure that the non-tech part of it is being addressed. Like you need people, syempre, to ship all the goods, di ba? And then worry about marketing later, because there are several strategies I can teach you to really promote and increase the number of users for your system. So promoting My Cartero, okay, I think one of the skills that I learned when I was in corporate is building a brand from scratch. And being an entrep as well, and learning the hurdles of digital transformation. I've gone a long way already. So
I know, I've witnessed that.
for a typical one brand, one service type of requirement, that's quite easy for me to do. No, I've handled much more complex applications, and actually I'll be creating a few videos on how to help as a startup in terms of marketing. That's why I created the 4 pillars of e-commerce, no? So at least
Which I am a supporter.
So at least you have a framework to follow, diba? So what I'm telling you now is to make sure that the domain, no, which is the website, is functioning well. Make sure no flaws, no, diba? I mean, do a user interface test, no? There's a user test to make sure na wala ng flaw yung system. When you're ready and you're sure and you guarantee that the people who will support that system is matured enough and ready to implement, then worry about marketing. Then next mo yung marketing And then you own logistics so okay ka na. Are you accepting online payments now?
Yung system namin is being integrated with GCash and PayMaya. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
While it's not in the system, yun yung system ang inaayos nila. But we can, let's say people will say GCash when they ask us GCash, PayMaya. But it's on my personal number. So yung ngayon na ginagawa, which is happening as we speak, is the inaayos nila yung payment gateway namin. So GCash and Paymaya is gonna be
Okay.
there, and online bank transfers.
Fix all those, and if you're in the next phase and
Mm.
you think you're ready, then let's sit down and talk about marketing.
Oo.
Kasi you can't really go full blast on marketing unless the system is fully functioning.
Correct. Kaya yun yung project namin. Dapat ang timeline noon matapos kami ng October, but because there were so many things happening
Are
um,
are you
with
integrated with the systems of Quantium and Sweden Post?
Sweden Post, yes. With
Sweden.
Quantium, with Quantium, it's in the discussion that we have. Pinapasign pa nila ako ng NDA. So yung NDA agreement, NDA pa lang ang dumaan na sa mga lawyers namin, yung mga pabalik-balik. So we're there, but it's part of the discussion for API integration.
So you need a good tech guy to make sure you remove the friction.
Mm.
So always put yourself in the shoes of the customer.
Mhm.
Make sure there's no friction within, di ba, accessing the system.
Yeah.
And then marketing should be easy.
Mm.
Actually, yan yung challenge mo eh. Ay, nagulat nga ako eh. You came out with a system like that eh.
Talaga.
Yeah.
Ganda ba?
Yeah. It should not be difficult as long as you have, di ba, somebody to help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
My Cardero kasi yun nga, 'di ba? For the international, we were able to set it up. We're also, because of the pandemic, we had a lot of inquiries for helping them with local distribution. Although there were a lot of available players in the local market, people would want to have only few people to talk to. So we were able to create a partnership with a local company to do our last mile. And we're now able to reach more than 7,700 barangays in the Philippines. And because of that partnership also, we are able now to welcome and accept international shipments originating from Davao, Cebu, Pampanga, to name a few. So that actually gave access to exporters from those regions also.
Oh, okay. So the system is ready to accept orders even out of Metro Manila.
Yes.
Wow.
So that was one of the results of the pandemic. Sa Lake Pampanga, we can pick up anywhere in Pampanga. All they have to do, like when they book, we will see naman saan yung pick up eh. So when we have that, the pickup has to be a day, the booking has to be a day before, so that we will be able to make arrangements for the pickup for the next day.
For out of town, who picks up the items from the sender?
The sender has a choice. If they would like to bring it to the drop center in that particular region, in that particular place, or if they want to have it picked up, we will have it. We will make arrangement for a pickup fee.
There's a fee for if they want it picked up.
Yes, for now.
Okay. Galing mo ah.
Hindi ako si Lord magaling.
So where do you see the challenge is? The tech. Let's talk about tech. When do you expect GCash, and are you integrating with Paymaya as well?
Yes, my technology partner is actually an aggregator of both GCash and Paymaya. So that's one advantage that we have. My technology partner who helped me develop the system is also an aggregator of this.
Okay,
So
very good.
they're now helping me with the payment facility gateway to be included in the site, in the booking site.
When do you expect that?
Some November. So that by November, by end of November.
Hopefully 2021 you're ready na.
Hopefully 2021 we will be able to really roll it out completely together with nationwide pickup. Nationwide pickup mo.
How lean is your team, Arlene?
My team is very lean. I have a dedicated team of like 4 And then outsourced yung iba. And of course, my family is helping me out. Hindi sila kasama dun sa pork. And we're expanding. We're actually hiring some more people to help us focus on the different product service and services. So I think we're adding two more people in the team.
The tech is outsourced, right?
Tech is yeah, we have a technology partner. We our digital marketing is also in partnership with another group. Our social media marketer is also outsourced. So
Okay.
I that's one thing I learned from the multinational companies, how to convert fixed cost to variable cost.
Okay. Okay. What's an average day for you? Are you the type of person who meditates, who exercise a lot? So can you run me through that?
Well, my daily routine now during the pandemic has totally changed from the way pre-pandemic, no? I've learned to take things lightly during the lockdown season, which made me focus on my inner well-being. So the day would really have to start now with a Devo time. So we really have to really anchor ourselves with the word of the Lord. And then I really listen to music, and then I do gardening. Then I start my day for work. No, if there would be rush things that I really need to focus, being in the house, work from home. No? So it's more work for me actually. While people think that it's nice and you can relax, but it's not. Because I start the day at 5:30 a.m. Sometimes I wake up at 3 and I try to sleep again. So I wake up at 6. By 7, 8, I have my breakfast. And then I do my gardening for 30 minutes. And then work. If there are things I need to address in the house, the normal things that the mom do, in the grocery thing. So iba-iba yon, I check things to do.
Okay.
And then I focus on what needs to be done. Now I try to fix my time, but it's so difficult because there are different requirements for the other company. So what's taking more of my time is actually my cartero. With the mentoring, I'm getting now a lot of mentees for VIP coaching. So I teach them how to present based on their presentation. I try to coach them, and that would take like about, well, it's sometimes they would take 3 hours. Sometimes it would take like about an hour long or 30 minutes. So that's okay. Now recently, recently, because of a lot of my friends are saying, you have to take care of the heart. We started because we can't go out, we can't go to the gym, and my kids doesn't want to go to the gym. So we bought a treadmill. So everybody now has to
Okay.
spend
That's good to hear.
30, everybody needs to spend at least 30 minutes in the treadmill, even my nannies, even my ayas.
Okay.
They're
So you have an
they have to
agreement with
walk.
them, huh?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
of course we don't want everybody to be, just idle, sitting down and working and doing nothing. Although they're studying or they're doing work, it's different when you get to exercise your cardio. So that was an investment I had to do,
Yeah,
had to
okay.
make.
That's
Uh,
good to hear. Arlene, how do you manage stress? I've been hearing a lot about worries and stress and anxieties from small businesses. Eh. Do you have a process?
One thing I learned over the years is really just to anchor on the Lord. I think this is how I was able to handle stress. Things are really stressful. Yes, but you have a choice. You have a choice to accept the stress being forced upon you, or choose to be anchored on the word of the Lord, where there's so many promises that you can hold on to because He is a faithful God. So, as a and I think the pandemic has deepened my relationship in this journey with our Creator. So that's why I learned how to do Devo time.
Okay.
Devo time, and really, and one thing good about the pandemic, it has created a family prayer time every night. And I think that helps, everybody's together in one room praying, praising the Lord, thanking Him for whatever we have, for the provision, and elevating all the challenges that we are facing hindi naman mawawala. So, I think that was one thing that
Okay.
positive thing that happened.
How can we support you moving forward? Do we follow you on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube?
If you want to follow My Cartero, it's a platform where you can learn not only about how to ship, but also about the different countries and updates. You get updates and learn from us which countries are open or which countries are finding challenges in this pandemic in terms of delivering into the country. So you can follow us at Facebook, Instagram, that's /mycartero lang. And you can also check us out at Google My Business if you want to find out more. And we would be releasing through our YouTube channel, My Cartero, some learning points also on how we can help you, let's say, pack, export, prepare something like the labels, as simple as that. And all the things that we have learned in this business, we will slowly share it with the general public through our YouTube channel.
Okay, this is the most exciting part of the show. I call this a speed round. I'll throw some questions. I want a top of mind answer. Don't overthink. Are you ready?
Yes,
Arlene, in one word.
faithful.
Faithful.
Yes,
What makes your heart sing?
good news.
Where's your happy place?
Home,
Home. What inspires you to get going?
service to the general public, my family.
What do you think you're doing now if you're not an entrepreneur?
I may be employed in one of the biggest firms in the Philippines.
What's the most searched topic in your browser history?
CCF.
Okay. If you had 3 people over for a dinner, who would you love to have there and why?
Sige, I love to sit down with Jesus and learn. I like to sit down with David and Solomon.
What do you want your children to say about you as a mom?
Loving, supportive, and strong.
You've been very successful and you made a great contribution to society. If you were to die tomorrow and you look back to think about your life, what would you have done more or less of?
I think I would have done more of my due diligence as a businessman. I had a lot of falling because of not doing my due diligence. And I'd like to do more of being a very good mom who affirms not only my children, but my team.
Thanks a lot, Arlene. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Parang
Good luck to your
sugar.
business.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so nice to be here. And thank you, Jovel, because you have also been one of the inspiration that we have with My Cartero. Your e-commerce background and your journey as an entrepreneur has inspired so many MSMEs, including us.
Thanks a lot, Arlene.